So hello and welcome to the Computer Lab. So today I'm going to take a look at the Canon Selphy CP1500. This is one of the newest in their range for photo printing, although it does do stickers and postcards and stuff like that if you buy the relevant paper for the printer itself. And one of the other things to make a note of, which I don't show in this video, is that you do need a different paper feeder if you are wanting to print the postcards or the stickers. You can get a creative pack directly from Canon, which has the some sticker samples in it, as well as the paper loader that goes with the postcard and the sticker printing. So I've been using this for a couple of months now, and obviously I wanted to just get a feel for things and see how it printed and stuff like that. So today I'm going to be looking at what you get in the box for your money, also the different packs that you can get, obviously also the print speed and the SD card that's built into it. I'm going to just look at the general spec overall. So the first thing we obviously need to do is to get the thermal cartridge into the printer. So to do that, we just drop the flap on the Canon CP1500 and you get one of these thermal cartridges that's will print the equivalent amount of paper that you have ordered, and you just drop it into the slots. You can only go in one way, so you push it into it, a little brown tab clicks over the top, make sure that's clipped down like that, and you're now ready to start printing when you close the door. So to power on, obviously there's a power button here, and you keep your finger on the actual power button and then you get the Canon logo like so. And one of the disappointing things I think about this printer is that this is still not touchscreen on the Canon Selphy CP1500. It would have been nice if this was a touchscreen. Instead you've got to work your way through the menus, but it's not the end of the world because you do most of the things within the app. But I presume if you're wanting to select anything out of these menus, as you can see, they're not touch sensitive screen. So you've got to do everything through the rocker key, as you can see here. And you've got a couple of different options, and when you initially set up you've got to go through the Wi-Fi settings in here. You've also got ID photos for printing ID photos off, and this is the same thing that's within the app, and I'll show you this within the app and not just on here. But for example, you can click on there and obviously just get all the before inserting memory card, so you've got to insert your memory card to get these prints off. So I'm going to do it within the app and not within here. You've got the general setup settings in here, print settings, print setup, and you can restore all defaults. Little back key to go back in the menus, menu key to bring you back to the menu, and OK to select. So fairly straightforward, but like I said, most of the stuff is done within the app. So anyway, at the front of the actual printer itself, you have the front flap, which you can see there, and if I just hold it to the actual light, you'll be able to see it a bit better. So you can see there you've got the SD card on the left hand side for printing directly from an SD card, and then you've got your loading slot at the side there. Going around the side of it, this is where your ink cassette goes in, and I will show you that there, but if I open the flap you'll see the actual ink cassette. So the ink cassette is loaded into this side there, and then once you've got it in to eject you can just push that and then pull the actual ink cartridge out, and you close the lid once you've got it in. On the rear of the machine you've got your power supply, and you also have this separate flap which lets you get into for your battery, if you're putting your battery inside the actual printer there. We're not using the external battery, we're just using the DC in. And then we've got a Kensington lock on this side, and we also have a USB-C direct connection, which you can just about make out, get the reflection right, just on the top right hand corner there. So we'll just flip it round on a different angle just to show you the paper loading tray. So you drop the front flap by pushing your finger in the indent like so, and I'm using the Canon photo paper, so I'm not using the stickers or the smaller cards. So obviously open up the package, and mine is, like I said, the full photo print ones. And when you get them out of the package, you will notice there is the Canon logo on the back, like so. And on the flip side, it should be your printable surface, and in my case, that's the glossy surface, as you can see. So they go in with the Canon logo down. So this is the paper loading tray. And there's two sort of doors that open up on this. The first one is the print where it drops out and sort of rest, and also they're the location pins that go into the actual printer. And the second door is where you load the paper into. So you open up the full face door as it would be, Canon logo facing it down, drops into the tray like so. It self-locates, and then you just drop down the bottom clip and then the top clip like so, and it acts as a sort of a storage container as well. So if you've got it in your bag, it's going to protect the paper. And once we want to load it, we just open the first door, slide it into the two location tabs and it clicks into place. Then you're ready to start printing. But if you're not printing directly from an SD card or directly from a computer, you'll need to install the app on your phone or tablet. So this is fairly straightforward, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. But the only thing to say really here is that you download the app and then follow the prompts on the screen and then possibly update the firmware and the software. And once that is all done, you then should be ready to print. So we'll start off by just doing the standard print. So we'll click select and print. In here you've got the standard layout. So we're going postcard. I'm going to leave mine on semi-gloss. I'm going to leave image optimization on. You might not want to do that if you're tweaking it within sort of Affinity Photo or something like that. Click OK. Then it says where do you want to get the image from? I want to get it from the smartphone, and I want to go recent. You might be picking an SD card if you've got an SD card in the slot. Then I'm going to pick an image up out of my recents. It gives this tips, which lots of programs do now, and it's basically telling me there that I can crop and rotate the image. You can select do not display this again. I've just left mine on for this tutorial. So click OK. So starting on left to right from the bottom, you can have the border on, or you can have the borderless. So it's giving you the full frame picture. I'm going to leave the border on. You then go to background, and this changes the color of that background border. So click black, and you can see the border then changes to black. So I'll turn that back off. And I'm going to put mine borderless for this particular demo, so it's a full print. You can then have the date in whichever location you want on here. So I'm going to go for, if you want the date in one of the corners, so I'm going to pick the date up there. I'll leave that on for this particular picture. You can change the format of the date. Then scrolling across, you've got overcoat. And what this does, it puts a small sort of white opaque image on top of your image. So for example, the lines, it puts it around the side. You might not pick it up on this picture very well. You can do snow, stars, and this is more, I think, if you're doing pictures that you want to sort of edit and give to friends and stuff like that. You can have hearts on there. They're very discreet. You can just about make the hearts out there on the image. And you've got flowers as well. So there's a couple of different things on there. I have done one with the line, the intensive line, just on this one, which puts it sort of splays it around the edges. You can see there. But I'm going to leave it blank for this particular photo again. So that's the overcoat. You've then got a stamp. You can put a stamp on it. Again, more probably if you're doing printing the stickers off. You can add text. So if you want to put a text, and you open the box up, and then you type your text on. You can change the layout, so if you want it into sort of a written layout, what colour you want the text, as you can see it in there, you can move it around. You can also centralise it, make it bold, and obviously change the transparent background colour. So we're going to get rid of that because we don't want any text on at this particular one. So that's the stamp, that's the text. Then you've got paint, where you can draw on with a pen. So you can draw whatever you want on there. Again, we don't want that, you can change the colour of your pen. You've got the eraser, you can blur your pen, sort of an opaque finish. You can send it to the front and back. So lots of different options in there. You can then add QR codes. You've got your filters, which you can change your filter on your image. You can see it changes it there. Again, if you're a photographer or something like that and you was giving these out, you might be doing this in an actual dedicated program, but it's nice that they give the option in there. So I'm just going to have it with none at all. Touch the wrong one there. So that's the filter. You can reselect photos, delete the page, and then you can go to your print settings. So at this point I'm going to print it, and let's see how long it takes to print. So if your printer's been off, you saw it there pop up, it will ask you if it wants to, you can join the actual printer so it can connect to this. There's a couple of different ways to connect. You can do a direct connection, or you can connect through your Wi-Fi system at home. I've got mine through Wi-Fi, but it still asks to do it the way. So this is the first print of the day on my Canon CP1500 Selphy printer, and it takes it about 1 minute to do this print. Now I don't know if that's because it's printing it directly from a mobile device, or if it's just because it's more detail in this photo. But the actual printer itself works by Dye-Sublimation, which is a fast, high quality prints, which it uses thermal Dye-Sublimation printing system. What that means is it will print each, so you can see it's doing the yellow, doing the magenta, doing the cyan, and then finishes off right at the end with one final sweep. But like I said, this one just takes just over a minute. It's the final sweep, I think, which seems to take longest. But either way, like I said, right at the end of the video, I do another print, which takes it approximately 40 seconds, which, going on the Canon website, it reckons about 41-second printing speed. So I would say the second print is almost certainly in keeping what Canon promise for this CP1500. But there we go, that's the print out. And if I just lift it from the actual carriage, you'll see that you've got the two bleed areas on the left and right, the white strips, and they just break off, they just snap off really. So as you bend them over, like so, it just clicks off, and then you can just throw it to one side. You notice there's nothing like the old Kodaks where you're flapping this around to dry it. It is perfectly fine to touch it straight away because of the thermal colour imaging technique that it uses. Really good high quality prints, especially for a machine of this size. Really good for keepsake. I mean, Canon reckon that the colour will stay for 100 years. Obviously, I'm not going to be around to see that, so we'll just believe them if that's what they're telling us. Okay, so the next thing to look at is the SD card slot. So I've got a couple of photos on here. Also to note here is that it will only read JPEG. It won't read the HEIC format that you've got on your iPhone and stuff like that. So make sure they're in JPEG if you want to print them directly from the SD card. And also you'll note there they've got these question marks, which I tried a couple of different ways and it always brought the question mark up. But when you click in, you get to see the image. Now I don't know if that's going to be changed with a software update or maybe a firmware update. But no matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to show the actual preview of the image. So sort of guessing what the images are before I can print. Obviously you can click on it to go into it. Let's just go into one. You've got a few different options in here. You can view by date or you can crop. So if I go to crop, you can move the crop box around like so. Then you can push menu again and you can push up or down, which will then allow you to enlarge or reduce your crop box once you've got it in position. Click menu again, you can go to the rotate again if you want to do that. So click the back key, click OK to preview will take us to the print section, but let me just get back to where I was, get rid of that, and we'll pick a picture, which one to print, go for this one, and then we'll get this printed off. So again, I'm going to put the timer up, and you'll see that this one prints a lot quicker than the previous print, and this one is more in keeping with the 40 seconds or 41 seconds that Canon promised with this printer. So the print is off. Again, it's doing the 4 different processes, so you go through the yellow, magenta, cyan, and the final sweep. And you can see it's already noticeably quicker. And if I put the different view on, you'll see it spitting it out from the side as it will be. So yeah, and now we're on to the final, not the final colour, the third colour, sorry, on the thermal imaging process. And it's nearly finished at this, and it's got the final sweep. And I think this final sweep is a lot quicker on this one, so I don't know if it just needed to warm up or, like I say, because it was reading it from my smartphone. But there we go, 40 seconds or just a bit over, and we have a perfectly acceptable print ready to go. So that's it, that's my review of the Canon Selphy CP1500. I really hope you enjoyed this video and it's been helpful. If it has, please do give the video a thumbs up. Please do hit me with any comments below, they are always appreciated, and please do subscribe to the Computer Lab on YouTube, and hopefully I will see you on the next video.